Welcome back to the part 2 of inhibitors and inhibitions. Part 2, we are going to discuss about the competitive inhibition, which is a part of the reversible type of inhibition. The other two types of reversible inhibitions are allosteric inhibition and feedback inhibition. So we are going to discuss competitive, allosteric, and feedback or end product inhibition. Let me explain to you the competitive type of inhibition with the help of an example. In TCA cycle, there is a reaction where succinate is converted to fumaric, and this is the structure of succinate. The enzyme is succinate dehydrogenase, and FAD gets converted to FADH2. Succinate has got two carboxyl groups. Now, there is a molecule called malonate, which also has two carboxyl groups. So these are the two carboxyl groups, and this also has two carboxyl groups. So the malonate acts like an imposter of the succinate and goes and binds to the active site. When malonate binds to the active site, enzyme catalysis cannot occur. So we can summarize the points, salient features of competitive inhibition. The inhibitor is a structural analog of the substrate, like malonate is of succinate. It can bind to the active site, but catalysis will not occur. This is a reversible type of inhibition. Why? Because if you increase the substrate concentration, then the substrate will push the inhibitor out from the active site and form enzyme substrate complex, and catalysis will go forward. What happens to the Km value? In presence of competitive inhibitor, the Km value of the enzyme for the substrate increases. That means the affinity for the enzyme for the substrate will decrease. Vmax, however, remains unchanged. So this is a classical example of competitive type of inhibition. Now let us see a video to show you how exactly the substrate binds to get complex, catalysis, enzyme product complex dissociates and goes back to. In presence of competitive inhibitor, substrate is pushed out and no product is formed. When substrate concentration is increased, it pushes the inhibitor out and enzyme substrate complex is formed, catalysis will occur, and it goes back to the active state and more catalysis can occur. This is competitive inhibition. Now let us see how this is depicted in the mind map. This mind map is all about reversible inhibition, competitive inhibition. You have structural analog of substrate, competes with the substrate for active site, forms EI complex, and no products are formed. Increased substrate concentration will reverse the inhibition. Kinetics, Km value is increased, that means affinity is decreased, Vmax remains unchanged, and we have an example for succinate dehydrogenase inhibited by malonate. Now let's move. Now this Lineweaver-Burk plot shows that the Km value has increased. 1 by Km value has decreased. That means Km value has increased. So affinity has decreased and Vmax remains unchanged. Lineweaver-Burk plot gives a more accurate Km value and Vmax value. That is why it is also called as double reciprocal plot, because the x-axis is reciprocal of substrate concentration and y-axis is reciprocal of the velocity of the reaction. So this is how competitive inhibition is shown in the mind map in a very shorthand way, which can be easily revised just before your exam. Let's move to the second type of reversible inhibition, that is the allosteric inhibition. Allosteric inhibitors act on enzymes which are called as allosteric enzymes. Allosteric enzymes are special. They have two sides. Allosteric enzymes have two sides. One is the active site. And you know what happens in the active site? The substrate will bind here in the active site and catalysis can occur. The other site is called as allosteric site. Allosteric site is a site on the enzyme other than the active site. It is different from the active site. So substrate can never bind at the allosteric site. Substrate will always bind at the active site. At the allosteric site, molecules can bind and they are called as modulators. There are two types of modulators. The first type, on binding to the allosteric site, will increase the velocity of the reaction or increase the rate of the reaction. Such modulators are called positive modulators. Positive modulators. The second type, when they bind to the allosteric site, decrease the velocity of the reaction. So they are called as negative modulators. When negative modulators bind to the allosteric site of the enzyme, the Km value will increase, that means the affinity has decreased, and velocity of the reaction is reduced. Therefore, the reaction cannot occur. However, whenever the concentration of the modulator becomes less in the cell, then the modulator will leave the allosteric site. Enzyme will go back to its active state and bind to substrate and reaction can go forward. Therefore, allosteric inhibition is also a reversible type of inhibition. And this is naturally used for regulation of enzyme activity. Whenever the modulator concentration increases, which is a natural metabolite in the cell, it will bind to the allosteric site, decrease the rate of the reaction till the modulator concentration comes down. And then when it comes down, it leaves the allosteric site and enzyme goes back to its active site. So this is depicted in our mind map very efficiently. Yeah, to the help of a diagram. Active site, allosteric site. When the allosteric site binds to activator, the active site can still bind to the substrate and you get enzyme substrate complex and so on and so forth. But when the inhibitor binds to the allosteric site, the active site can no longer bind to the substrate because active site configuration has changed. Therefore, no catalysis will occur till the level of the negative modulator comes down in the cell. Once it comes down, it goes off and enzyme goes back to active state and more catalysis can. The example for allosteric inhibition is in pyrimidine synthesis, there is an enzyme called aspartate transcarbamylase, which is made up of 6 subunits. And the end product of this pyrimidine synthesis is pyrimidine nucleotides. You know the pyrimidine nucleotides, TTP, CTP, and UTP. Whenever concentration of the UTP, CTP increases, it goes and binds to the allosteric site of the enzyme and the activity of the enzyme will decrease. Similarly, in glycolysis, the phosphofructokinase enzyme, the third enzyme in the pathway, is allosterically inhibited by ATP. ATP is the reason why glycolysis occurs, to give energy in the form of ATP. If there's adequate ATP concentration in the cell, it will bind to the allosteric site of phosphofructokinase enzyme and keep it silent till the ATP concentration comes down in the cell. Once ATP concentration comes down, ATP will leave the allosteric site and enzyme becomes active again and glycolysis will proceed. The third example is in fatty acid biosynthesis. The first reaction of fatty acid biosynthesis is by enzyme acetyl-CoA carboxylase. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase can be allosterically inhibited by fatty acyl-CoA, the end product of the pathway. When there's adequate fatty acids inside the cell, fatty acyl-CoA will bind to acetyl-CoA carboxylase and inhibit it till the fatty acid level comes down. Once it comes down, it will leave the allosteric site and acetyl-CoA carboxylase can go back to its active state and go ahead with the catalysis for synthesis of fatty acid. So this is all about the reversible types of inhibition, that is allosteric inhibition or allosteric regulation. Let's move on to the third type of reversible inhibition, that is feedback inhibition, or it can also be called as feedback regulation. So in feedback regulation or feedback inhibition, something from the pathway itself is going to inhibit the enzyme. For example, glucose gets converted to glucose 6-phosphate in the first step of glycolysis. Enzyme is hexokinase or glucokinase, but hexokinase is inhibited by its own product, glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate, when there is increased concentration of glucose 6-phosphate, it is going to inhibit the hexokinase enzyme. This is called as product inhibition. In a metabolic pathway, there are a series of reactions. Maybe 3, 5, glycolysis has 10. So every reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme and it produces an intermediate. Now let us see this in the form of a video. This represents a metabolic pathway. There are 5 enzymes. So there will be 4 intermediates and 1 end product. So let's see what will happen. Now the substrate will bind to the active site of enzyme 1, give rise to intermediate 1, which binds to enzyme 2, gives rise to intermediate 2, which binds to enzyme 3, gives rise to intermediate 3. Intermediate 3 will bind to enzyme 4, gives rise to intermediate 4, and that will bind to enzyme 5 and give rise to end product. When the concentration of end product increases, it goes and binds to the enzyme and changes the active site of the enzyme so that it can no longer bind to the substrate. Therefore, the activity of the enzyme will come down. How long does it stay down? Till the concentration of the end product inside the cell becomes less. Once the concentration of the end product inside the cell becomes less, then the end product will leave the site, enzyme goes back to active state, and the reaction will continue. So this is an example for the feedback inhibition or end product inhibition. Both allosteric inhibition and end product inhibition help the cell to conserve energy and prevent the overcrowding of metabolites inside the cell. Now let us see some examples for the allosteric, for the end product inhibition. We have seen how glucose 6-phosphate is capable of inhibiting hexokinase enzyme, its own enzyme which creates it, and this is called as product inhibition. Similarly, in heme synthesis, heme, the end product of the pathway, will inhibit the first enzyme in the pathway, which is called as ALA synthase. How long will it inhibit? Till the concentration of heme in the cell becomes less. Once heme concentration becomes less, the heme will get released from the enzyme. Enzyme becomes active, and then the pathway will resume once again. Another example is in purine synthesis. In purine synthesis, the end products are ATP and GTP. ATP feedback inhibits one of the initial enzymes, PRPT synthetase. Therefore, it regulates its own production by inhibiting an enzyme from its own biosynthetic pathway. So these are the three types of reversible inhibition. Competitive inhibition, which can be reversed by increased substrate concentration, the allosteric inhibition, and the feedback inhibition, which can be reversed by the decrease in the concentration of the modulator or the end product in the cell. Now, we finish with the part 2, reversible type of inhibitions, and we will move to part 3, where we are going to learn about the irreversible types of inhibition. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you feel that it's going to help your friend, please refer to your friend to subscribe to our channel. You want to know more about the benefits of being a referral, you can contact this WhatsApp number. See you in part 3.